10 years ago, I saw something I was never supposed to see. And in 2025, I still dream about it. Back in 2015, I was a different man. A zoologist with more curiosity than caution. I specialized in megafauna behavior and had worked on several expeditions across the world, tracking snow leopards in the Himalayas, jaguars in the Amazon, and even polar bears in the far north. But nothing fascinated me more than the legends that science refused to entertain. That year, I took an invitation from a conservation group in Congo Basin. It was thinly veiled as a wetland study, but I had a different motivation. Rumors of an ancient creature roaming near the river systems by the waterfalls. The locals called it MOKELE-MBEMBE. No photos, no clear sightings. Just whispers of a dinosaur-sized shadow with a long neck and a hide like ancient bark. I didn't believe in fairy tales, but I believed in undiscovered species, and I wanted to be the one to find it. I stayed in a small village near the Likuala River. Quiet place. The people were cautious but kind. When I asked around, most of them brushed off the subject. But one man, Atoka, an elder who claimed to have seen it decades ago, spoke to me. He said it looked like a brachiosaurus, but darker, older. Only one. Always alone, he said. It comes when the river is angry. Then it disappears back into the thick places where no man walks. I asked him to show me where he saw it last. We hiked upriver, past the first waterfall, and then down a slope covered in moss and fog. Here, he said simply, tapping his walking stick into the earth. It watched me from across the water. I prayed. It turned and left. I set up camp that night near the river bend. My tent, gear, and camera were ready. But truth be told, I didn't expect much. I spent the next few days exploring, taking photos of the dense scenery, logging wildlife patterns, and climbing trees for vantage points. I found no tracks, no nests, no broken branches, nothing. It crushed me. On the fourth night, I sat outside my tent reviewing photos on my old Canon. My mind was already preparing the speech I'd give my peers when I returned. No evidence, nothing substantial, just another myth. Then I heard it. A loud splash. I grabbed my camera and crept through the brush. At the river's edge, I saw hippos, a few of them, snorting and shifting in the shallows. I exhaled and almost turned back. But then something changed. The hippos stopped moving. All of them turned their heads upward. I followed their gaze. What I saw, it was massive. A shadow moved from the trees. It was hard to make out. Rain had started, and the moon was smothered in clouds. But I saw the long neck, the rough hide, like wet stone and moss. Its breath was deep, like a distant engine. It towered over the hippos, studying them silently. Then, silence. Everything froze, and then it roared. I dropped to my knees. My ears rang. The beast lunged. The hippos fought back with shocking courage, one biting its leg, another grabbing its tail. But it was no contest. The creature's massive jaws clamped down on one of them and hurled it toward the cliffs. I heard the crunch of bone before it hit the rocks and tumbled into the water, still. Another hippo charged, but got caught in the beast's claws, lifted and impaled on a cluster of jagged stone near the waterfall. The water turned crimson. I sat there, paralyzed, snapping pictures like my life depended on it. When the battle ended, only one hippo was left, limping toward the reeds. The creature turned its head slowly, scanning the shoreline. I ducked behind a massive tree trunk, holding my breath. It paused, sniffed the air, then turned back and lumbered into the jungle. The trees seemed to close behind it, and it was gone. By morning, I was in the village, frantic, covered in mud and blood. Not mine, thankfully. I told them everything. Some listened, most stared. I brought them to the scene. The dead hippos were still there. One floating, one still impaled. Even the most skeptical among them grew quiet. Then I pulled out my camera. "Here," I said. "This is proof. I got it. It's real." I flipped through the photos, my hands shaking, but every shot of the creature, blurry, distorted. One looked like a smear of shadows, another like a trick of the rain. Nothing clear, nothing convincing. They said maybe I had seen elephants fighting, or perhaps I was feverish. I never convinced them, not fully. Now, in 2025, I'm back in the States. 10 years older, 10 years haunted. The photos are still with me. I keep them in a locked drawer. I stopped trying to prove anything. But I remember its roar. I remember the look in its eyes. Not animal. Something else. I didn't find the proof I wanted. But I found something worse. Truth without belief. And sometimes, that's the loneliest kind of truth there is. So if you ever find yourself near the Congo Basin, and the river goes quiet, and the trees start to breathe, don't stay. Don't look. And don't follow the ripples. Because MOKELE-MBEMBE is real. And it doesn't need your belief to kill you.